Hey everybody, welcome back to another Blind Tuesdays. Hope you guys been enjoying the content on the channel as of late. This is going to be a little bit of a rapid run review because I got to be somewhere in like 30 minutes, so I'm just trying to dedicate at least like 10 or 15 minutes to this because I don't really have much thoughts on the subject. And for another, I also had recorded this video before, but I had lost the file because I was trying to create space for my camera and I deleted the file. So, but but we're gonna do another Blind Tuesdays because I try to keep this around. It just every so often like I just drop this segment, but I'm trying to keep it sort of alive in some way. So we're going to do it again, and we are doing action this week as we spun the wheel last time. And since I already recorded the video already, I already know ahead of time what the next category is going to be, so just so you know. And we'll reveal that at the end of this video. But for this week, we're going to do something a bit relevant because of coming off of CinemaCon. We got some announcements for some films here and there, as well as an expansion of a established franchise. And I think that it's appropriate to discuss now and discuss it's the first of the entry of this specific series in the vein of action. That film we're going to discuss today briefly is John Wick, which was directed by Chad Stahelski, released in 2014, of course starring Keanu Reeves as the title character. Also starring Ian McShane, John Leguizamo, Willem Dafoe. And this is the story of a aging hitman named that of John Wick. And he is currently retired. He is living off the grid. He has a dog with him, and he's kind of kept to himself. The dog is also holding some significance as his lover has passed on, and the dog is something of a whole last bit of, literally in terms of a physical connection, that is the last thing that he has of his wife. One day he meets a person at a gas station, and tensions brood, and this person decides to invade his home and murders his dog. And in that act, it instills a rage in him, a fire that he has not had for years. And he dons back his old persona, literally, digs up his past and brings out the old hitman once again to enact revenge against the people that murdered his dog, and hence also took away the last memories of his now deceased wife. And he finds himself back into the underground and back into a world that he thought he had left many, many years ago. So of course, this series has taken on a life of its own ever since this original film. Of course, it's now become a big franchise, expanding now 4 films, now leading into spin-offs. We just heard not too long ago about Chapter 5 coming out now. So it's a series that is ongoing. And it was also a critical point in Keanu Reeves' career because Keanu Reeves was kind of dying out as a name. I believe also in personal life, he was also dealing with things that kind of oddly reflect the character of John Wick, specifically in this film. I could be wrong about that, but I think that's what I've heard. But in terms of a career point, this is definitely a fire that was put into his career because it was fizzling out because he was just, of course, known as The Matrix and did a few films here and there, but it wasn't anything to the heights to The Matrix. So something like this really brought out, an edge and brought out more of an relevancy to his name. And now he's everywhere. After this, he would do Toy Story. He would do like a film for DC, as well as a few things here and there. Did some Matrix, brought him back. So this is, very critical in terms of, keep maintaining Keanu Reeves as a name. And as far as it goes, talking about the original film, as it were, I think that, for how it is laid out, I think that stylistically there is merit in terms of how in terms of its overall, play within lighting and within color contrast. I think that there's some interesting things to be gleaned from it. That's one of the few things that I found of merit to be of the John Wick series, of how they play with visuals in terms of aesthetic and framing. Like aesthetically speaking, it's rather pleasing to look at. Specifically with this film, there's a lot of blue tints that are played with in this specific entry. As far as Keanu Reeves as the character goes, I mean, there's not much that is there. I mean, the best you could describe it is basically that of Clint Eastwood as the man with no name, where he's essentially just a walking brutal force of nature, but doesn't necessarily have much to say. Not really a whole lot to say, but more or less to do in the action. And in that respect, I mean, there's merit to what Keanu Reeves does. Knowing that he throws himself into this role is interesting and gives it some kind of merit, I guess, knowing some of that outside knowledge. But it is a pretty bare bones, thriller. It's laid out as it is, and as the story goes, I mean, that's basically the motivator is to enact revenge. And for a large portion of its time, it's more concerned with flirting its action sequences, which are entertaining. But in terms of a story, there isn't much there to really chew on. And as a character, I mean, it is pretty just cut dry and to the point. So it doesn't really have much going for it outside of just some fair stylistic choices and the commitment that physically is being brought by Keanu Reeves. As it is, it's just pretty bare bones, and I just don't think that there is a lot to that original film. I think that as time goes on, as we build up the series and we kind of build up the character in specific ways, I think that there's more merit that is discovered, specifically in the last film, Chapter 4, at least for my money. But as it stands, it's fair. I mean, it does some neat things visually, but more or less it is pretty bare bones and pretty simplistic. And in that kind of mind-numbing state, it is entertaining enough, and in terms of seeking higher, quality and merit, I would say it's mostly that of just disposable, but not a viewing that you will be irritated or bored by. It's just pretty okay, pretty mediocre, at least to my feeling on it. So those are my thoughts on John Wick. I think it's okay. I think the series actually gets better as time goes on. I think Chapter 2, I can remember a few things here and there. Chapter 3, I remember stylistically was pretty nice. And then Chapter 4, I actually think they actually meld that style with the action, with just actually a story that feels, again, kind of oddly enough, echoing that of the Clint Eastwood Westerns, which I feel like is a kind of a key influence on crafting this world and the specific character of John Wick. I think the highlighting of those influences in Chapter 4 actually give it some substance, whereas in this, it just, I just feel like there's not a lot that to chew on outside of just some flirting and style and within its building of its action. But those are my thoughts on John Wick. You guys let me know your thoughts on the original if you guys have seen it, or if you guys are fans of the series. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, your thoughts on them doing more films in the series, a Chapter 5 in development, which we've discussed, the spin-offs that are coming out, Ballerina, which is due to come out this summer. And, of course, this is being Blind Tuesdays, so I've already said ahead of time that, I filmed this video, so I already know what the next Blind Tuesday is going to be. So, for next week, hopefully, if I, get around to it, next week's Blind Tuesdays will be a comedy. So, not decade specific, so just by genre. So, just whatever comedies you guys are curious of discussing, let me know, because that's the criteria. So, not decade specific, just genre specific this time. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, what your guys' picks are for next week, what kind of comedies maybe we can discuss. Let me know. Let me know all your thoughts. All things related, John Wick, comedies, anything like that. Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section below. And that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. And until then, I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.